I did. It's a spinning white wheel now. Oh, I see it now. Jesus, that's we're
Live.
29 seconds. 29 seconds live, gentlemen. I only saw it just there. Didn't even realize it. Ladies and gentlemen, you are very. Hold on to some security software notification from McAfee. Go away. No, I do not want to upgrade. Folks, a very warm welcome to Thursday night's. What?
Have we got a sponsorship deal with McAfee?
Hope so.
No.
McAfee, as most people call them.
McAfee.
Actually, did you ever see the documentary about your man who founded that company?
Yeah.
John.
Yeah, he's off his fucking rocket.
Did he play rugby? Did he play rugby?
No.
No.
All right, Jesus Christ. Right, ladies and gentlemen, you are very welcome to Thursday's edition of Mauls, Balls and All. It is 8:30, and we are all conscious that we are clashing with the under-20s game that is currently on at the moment. I believe the score is 6-3, and England were, there you go, good man. Was it 3-9 or
3-9?
3-9,
okay.
Ireland just lost them all as well.
Okay, and England are down to...
now as well.
All right, but England were down to 13 with a red card. This bloody stupid 20-minute red card law has been brought into effect. So they were down to 13. They're back up to 14 now. Okay. All right, gentlemen, how the hell are we? Joining me this evening is Matt Boland, Mike Reedy, Dara Weston, and Dave Sheedy. So we have, apart from myself, we have 2 Leinster guests and we have 2 Munster guests. Gentlemen, are we well in ourselves? How are we?
We're all good, bud, yeah.
Sound.
All good, Jack.
Sad. It's a sad day for rugby. The first of these fucking 20-minute red card shite.
I would totally agree with you, Dara. Yes, I think an awful lot of people would. An awful lot of people would. Gregor Galway is joining us. Gregor, how are you? Evening, watching the under-20s. I suspect you are not alone on that, Gregor. Always good to have you on, Gregor. Yeah, there you go. Right, gentlemen, let's get into it. As you all know, the team to play England on Saturday was announced today. Couple of talking points as to be expected when anytime an Irish team is named to play any game, be it the Six Nations autumn test or whatever, you will always have people debating why so-and-so wasn't picked and blah, blah, and so on and so on.
Do you want to do another topic before you do this? Because you want Sheedy and Reedy to get really fucking wound up before you start into Prendergast being started. I mean, I've rant cold. And there's a promotal.
He's about a minute behind. That fight is long over, man. The
it's true. The
I have more. I've more fuel to the Sheedy fire.
Oh God!
Okay.
He doesn't need fucking fuel, Peter.
No, he doesn't. You're right.
Is this why you asked me to come on tonight? To piss me off? Is that what it is?
No. James Grennan still has no Wi-Fi. Would you believe?
That's shocking.
You know, I don't know what's going on out that neck of the woods in the west of Ireland. Anyway, Matt Boland.
Yeah.
One contentious issue was the choice of Prendergast starting over Crowley, and people. This is not me saying this. This is me looking at different comments under the post, not just our own group, but other groups that I dipped into. People saying that it's a Leinster bias. It's the IRFU favouring the D4 crowd, which they still fail to understand. There's 12 counties in Leinster. It's not just D4. Is there a justification for starting Prendergast, Matt, over Crowley? Or would you, Matt, have done it the other way?
If I was picking a decision, it would be very hard for me, and you'd have to just go on past performances. I was watching Jim Hamilton there talk about this very issue, and he made some fairly valid points, and it's hard to disagree with what he was saying. Like he was full of praises for Jack Crowley. Said he fully deserves to start any game for Ireland, but he said I think they're just going to go with Prendergast on the basis that it's in a World Cup cycle. He's young. He's inexperienced. Get him up to the standard, and then they'll have 2, because he believes that Jack Crowley is already at that standard. To have 2 world-class 10s going into the next World Cup would be absolutely vital and could have massive impact for Ireland. So what he said, I actually agree with. Now, on the other side, no matter who was going to be picked, you were going to have a shitstorm in Leinster and a shitstorm in Munster. If Jack Crowley is picked, all the Leinster lads would be given out, and vice versa. You know, I'm happy that Prendergast is starting, but I feel sorry for Crowley because he deserves to start as well. You know,
Crowley did play well for Munster. He has been playing well for Munster recently. The last couple of outings he started. Okay, all right. Thanks, Matt. Mike Reedy, what do you think? Would you agree with Matt? Would you agree with the criticisms? Would you agree with people saying it's more bias, it's more Leinster bias, all this sort of stuff that, you know, Prendergast being picked over Crowley? What do you think, Mike?
I'm good with either being picked. However, I mean, we were all waiting on Jack Crowley to have a game, and he had a game, probably one of the best games of his life for Munster against Northampton, and he's still not getting picked. Now, I think there's a risk sticking Prendergast in against England because they're a big physical side, and they will. There's absolutely no doubt. They'll listen. They'll target any 10 anyway. They will, but I mean, young Sam is still light, you know, and I just really hope he doesn't get fucking smashed, and it could very well happen. I hope it doesn't happen, but they'll definitely target him, and you know, we need to see if he is good enough, because we all think he is, and we all like to think he is. I mean, I agree with what Jim Hamilton said. I think Jack Crowley is good enough. He has proven he's good enough. So it would be nice to find out if we have another fella that's going to rise to the occasion. And now we're not traditionally renowned for doing this kind of thing, you know, trying new guys out. It's a risk, but it's a risk worth taking if it works out. But it could also be very detrimental to Jack's future, or Sam's future, if he gets absolutely fucking annihilated, you know, or whatever. Like, it has a really poor game, it could set him back. Even though he's very young, I think he'd probably rise above that. But yeah, I'm good with whatever the team. But I know we'll get into whatever else was picked. But you're talking about Sam Prendergast and Jack.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Thanks, Mike. Dara, your thoughts on all this argument?
So I think we need a bit of perspective on this. Crowley has 19 caps for Ireland. It's not like he's got over 100 caps and there's some young upstart being put in ahead of him. Also, he's on the bench, so it's not like he's been left out of the squad. He will play against England. It's just a matter of when he comes on. So, you know, they're blood and Prendergast, as everybody has said. You know, if we've learned anything from Johnny disappearing, is that, you know, and it's kind of always been the case up until maybe Johnny. We could never really decide who, you know. Humph had Raj had Johnny, and then Johnny had 3 or 4 lads snapping at his heels, but there was never a direct kind of one-on-one competition. So look, I think, you know, Crowley and Prendergast are the future 10s for Ireland. As I say, you know, you can over-egg it, like saying, oh, how dare they leave Crowley out? Like, Jesus, 19 caps, as I said. If he had 90 caps, it might be a different story. You know, and he is going to play. So I think, you know, look, you wouldn't know what Andy left on the fridge for Easterby, but, you know, maybe he's looking at, you know, maybe he's, you know, looking at hoping to take one of them at least over on the Lions. So, you know, yeah, I mean, which is not, I mean, Bod didn't have that many caps under him when he went in his first Lions tour, but he was an amazing, exciting player, so they brought him. So you never know, you know, one of them could get a
But is Sam Prendergast an amazing and exciting player yet?
He's doing the job. So,
yeah, okay.
You know, I mean, that's all you can ask from a 10. I mean, you know, he's not a winger, he's not a centre, but like, if you can kick every time, it's kind of like a Forrest Gump, you know, thing. If you can just put a fella anywhere in the pitch and tell him, kick that ball between those 2 sticks, and he does it, happy days. That's all you want from a 10.
All right. Okay.
No,
Dara Weston.
Like, he could have a plan involved as well, like give both of them a half, like, you know, you never know. Like, they could switch to half time and give them both 40 minutes, like.
You could, yeah. Dave Sheedy, you being a Munster fan and an Irish rugby fan, any thoughts on you for you about Prendergast over Crowley or Crowley over Prendergast, or do you for the national team, is it good, or would you What do you think?
I don't. I hate these comments where it's like Leinster bias or Munster bias, but I will say there is favouritism going on. And I'm going to explain that now in a minute. But I have no problem with Sam Prendergast getting selected because I can see why they're doing it. Because they want to give him a run. They want to see what he's made of. And if anything happens, you have a safe pair of fucking halfbacks on the bench. Like, definitely. In Conor Murray and thing to you know, Prendergast has a howler, right? Grand, look, we'll bring him off. We'll set him down. Kind of like, because look what happened Frawley, and he's fallen from grace now. That won't happen, Sam. My main gripe with all this, and I'll get to Calvin Nash in a minute, but I don't
mention Calvin Nash. I'm coming to him afterwards.
Okay.
Stop jumping the gun.
Sorry. I thought we were talking about the whole team.
No, we will in a minute.
My main gripe is the armchair ride that Prendergast has gotten to the 10 jersey. That's my main problem because, like, there's players who've had to fight hard for their position. And I was listening to that big English fella, was an ITV podcast, your man Flats.
Oh, yeah, David Flatman.
Yeah, who was being interviewed by a really hot girl. I don't know who she is. But the point he was making was for O'Mahony and especially Healy's selection. He was saying there's no one coming through ripping the jersey off them. And I think that's a very fair point. There's no one coming through going, give me that fucking, and taking it from Cian Healy. But then if you apply that to other positions, it's not really happening. Like, I mean, when I think of people who struggle to get in the Ireland team, I think of Tyke Byrne, I think of Jordan Larmour, I think like John Muldoon was the best number 8 in the country the year they won. He wouldn't get a sniff. Johnny O'Connor barely got in. And then other people get it handed to them, like Sam Prendergast, like Jimmy O'Brien. I can't think of others off the top of my head, but I know if I sat down, I get a good list going. I don't understand the favoritism for some and others have to work so hard to get their position. That's my only gripe because, again, I've said this for weeks now, I feel so sorry for Kieran Frawley because I think he's an exceptional 10 and has the ability to be exceptional 10. And as Flats was saying, like, you kind of have to go with one. You have to go with one. That's what every country does. They kind of go with one. You can't, like, you know, because you need cohesion. So you can't, like, have 1 10, then next week another 10, next week another 10, blah, blah, blah. You kind of have to nail a 10. And to be true to our traditions of rugby, I'd agree with that. So who are they nailing down? Because, I mean, all season, Leinster didn't know who their 10 was. And now I hear there's talk of Byrne going here, Tector going somewhere else, this, that, and the other. And it's just that seems to be coming into the Ireland team. And I think we need to nail down.
But Dave, we've had this. This is nothing new for the Irish team. Like, if you go back, we had Tony Ward and Ollie Campbell.
Yeah,
we had O'Gara, we had Sexton, we had Dave Humphreys, and who was...
But O'Gara had to fight fucking hard to get that jersey off Humphreys, whereas Sexton didn't have to fight as hard, and he was given to it by Kidney. So, it's not a Leinster Munster thing. No, Sexton's not a bit different at the start of his career. He's not a bit different. He is now because we know what he's done. But at the start of his career, he was not that different. And I felt it was handed to him easier. And then the likes of Paddy Jackson, right? Brought in when he was needed. And then when Joey Carberry came through, Jackson was shipped off. And it was an easy ride.
We won't talk about Paddy Jackson.
Yeah, we all know what happened to Paddy Jackson.
I know, but I'm speaking about the principle at the start of their careers. You know,
Dave, would you agree that, like, you know, sorry, Peter, but just now this, I kind of take a bit hard the armchair ride Sam's been given. I think that's a bit unfair now. I think a lot of what brought Sexton into the mind and into the Irish 10s shirt was that great Munster-Leinster game in Croker.
I agree.
It was a smasher of a game.
Yeah,
and similarly,
we didn't have options back then either. It was O'Gara or Sexton, but now we have 3 or 4.
And then when Sexton retired, everybody was like, Burns. Who else have we got? We've nobody else, and everybody was giving out that we didn't have options. So I think it's only right that we should go back to having 2 players competing for the jersey.
Yeah, no,
and they're both starters for Frawley, but just Frawley's on the bench and he'll get time. But like Sam has to get, it's his first Six Nations appearance. He has to get in at some stage.
Well, he's not on the
Frawley's not on the bench.
No, he's not on the bench. They went for a 5-3 split on the bench. No, it's Conor Murray. No, it's Conor Murray, Henshaw, and who else?
Crowley.
Conor Murray's assistant.
Crowley. Yeah. Okay, Peter Martin, you've been waiting patiently there. The question I asked initially was that this whole argument that I saw online about the Prendergast being chosen over Crowley. People were saying it's more D4 favoritism. And all this sort of rubbish, I thought, anyway, that you can imagine. Your thoughts on the choice of starting Prendergast over Crowley, considering Crowley is playing well for Munster at the moment. What do you think, Pete?
Well, I think I called it a few weeks ago, actually, at the end of last year, that we'll see the two of them basically vying for the jersey. And that's a position we should welcome. Controversial and piss off some people that it might do. I think that's the way to go. I would actually be a bit. I wouldn't have necessarily personally. I wouldn't have picked Prendergast to start. I would have had Prendergast on the bench and maybe started Crowley. I think England will be a little bit more happy to see Prendergast starting. Because there's a perception that there's a weakness in his defence, and be under no illusion. I don't think Prendergast will not enjoy a curry at the end of in the coming in after Saturday. To say I would take issue with what Dave is saying as regards an armchair ride. He's played a number of games, Prendergast. He's played games where he hasn't played well. He's played games where things haven't gone well for him. And I think really what it comes down to, like, and this is speaking as a front row player, right? I think an awful lot of what Prendergast has obviously shown is that in the experience, in the mixed experiences he's had in this game, and like let's be fair to him, he hasn't had a game where you could smell him, right? Since he's been in the jersey. He's had games where, because of all the pressure that's on him and the hype around him, he's had games where he's had basically maybe a 6 or even a 7 out of 10, where he's been good, not great. And that probably hasn't helped to an extent, because everybody's saying Prendergast because he lit it up at under 20s levels, right? Now, he came into the senior game. He's been a marked man, and there are going to be back rows, and his opposite numbers are going to go and have a cut off him. And probably rightly so, like, because it's just going to see how come and go and have a go and see how hard you are, kind of thing. But I would take issue with the fact that he's had an armchair ride. He's been played a plenty of times to get that experience and see how it goes. I think it's down to his strength. I think it's a measure of his character that he's continuing to I suppose roll with the punches. Now, we know Crowley is a more established player, and he is absolutely in form. I do think, it's a slightly iffy selection for me personally. It's a slightly iffy selection for me, given that it's England we're up against, given that they've gone for a swashbuckling fast back row. So I just It'll be very, very interesting to see how things pan out. Now, we could see.
Am I right, Pete? Am I right, Pete? Sorry, Pete. Am I right in saying that England have picked 3 open sides?
Well, there are those who basically say that Earl isn't an open side.
The Curry, so one of the Currys.
In the true sense of a word, he probably isn't. It's just his style of play, the way he actually plays. He carries like an 8, I think Earl does. But as regards the other aspects of the game, the defensive aspect of the game, he kind of overshoots the mark. His positioning on the pitch, where an 8 would probably take more. You'll have 3 guys going for the one kind of ball, if you like. It's when you've got when you've got the 2 Currys in the pitch, and then you have Earl, there has to be a little bit more balance there. And I think there's a possible danger that England are slightly unbalanced in the back row.
Their line out will suffer if they've got 3 open sides in that 1-8. Their line out will misfire
Well, I suppose like if you're working on the premise, of course, that you've had Chesham has played 6, and you've also had Laws and Itoje. Like Ireland, like England traditionally, particularly under Eddie Jones, always had a big man, had a line-out option in 6. They always had 3 line-out options. Now they're going to have 2 line-out options in Itoje and Martin.
Yeah.
Look, they're obviously deciding that it's a question mark, perhaps, that maybe they're not going to go after Ireland at set piece time, that they're basically going to try and keep up with us around the park and disrupt our ball. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. They'll
still kick the skin off it, I'm sure.
Let me respond to that, please. Will you for a second?
Go on, Dave, quickly, because we've also got you. We're 20 minutes in already.
My idea of an armchair ride is not when he's playing or picked. It's got to do with his selection, and it's not got to do with Crowley. I'm thinking more how easily it's given to him over Frawley. In my head, I look when the kid's on, he does what he does. That's not my point. My point is where other players have to fight so fucking hard to get picked, and as I said, we're going to talk about Nash later, but then Sam Prendergast seems to just get in based on what he did Dave, with the under-20s.
Dave, I tell you what. There's one issue there with that, right? Frawley plays 10, he plays 12, and he can play fullback.
Yeah, okay? He's right. Multi, where Sam is a 10.
Yeah. You need a 10, Rob Kearney, in the old days. Rob Kearney was a 15, just a 15. Right. There is something that coaches, I've noticed this, international coaches prefer someone who is dedicated to their craft in a dedicated position. And I think that's why Frawley will, yes, he has been hard done by, but that's why I think Frawley will be a utility bench.
But Jack can play 12, Jack can play 15.
But Jack has
been given the 10, and Frawley hasn't been given the opportunity at 10 to cement it as his craft. Is kind of.
I know, but Jack Crowley has been parachuted into the 10 position because that's his preferred position. Because exactly. Yeah. You've just answered your own question. Yes. Okay.
Yeah. Peter, you said I was wrong, but according to the IRFU, Murray, Crowley, and Henshaw are the 3 back replacements on the bench.
Yeah, that's what I said. I said Murray, Henshaw, and Crowley.
Yeah, you said Frawley.
Oh, I said Crowley.
Sorry. Okay, before we go on to our next point, sorry, hold on, Mike. Megan Augusta, evening, gents. Half time now, 3-9 to England. I'd say that second half is kicking off shortly, if not already.
50 seconds in, yeah.
50 seconds in. Okay, Gregor, go away. Does Clarkson worry you guys on the bench? No, not really. Catherine Keegan, evening all. Hi, Catherine. Hi, Gregor. Hi, Megan. Mike Sheedy, the eternal optimist for Munster Rugby. Under 20s Ireland 3, under England 9. Yeah, we got that. Thanks, Mike. Good to have you with us. James Grennan, shush, lads. I'm trying to watch the under 20s.
I tell you, don't fucking broadband.
Well, he obviously has a TV. Okay.
Isn't he?
I know. Matt Boland, coming to you. Just a couple of things, and they were brought up there. They were mentioned by Dave Sheedy, who I'm going to come around to. But 2 choices. One surprise they were included, and one surprise they were excluded. Ian Henderson included. I was very surprised he was. And Calvin Nash excluded. I was very surprised he was as well. Your thoughts on that, Matt?
Yeah, well, I think we were all surprised about the Henderson fucking inclusion, I suppose, but I think that's just on the premise that Big Joe is unavailable and they're looking for a bit of oomph on the bench, because renowned Henderson coming on is a good fucking impact player, but I don't think he should have been there based on his autumn performance, which was really, really poor. I don't think he shouldn't have been there at all, really. I was actually surprised he was picked in the extended squad before they actually picked matchday squad. So I'm against it. I think he's coming to the twilight years of his career, and people like that, picking people like that in a World Cup cycle is bonkers, because we need to be breeding the younger lads, and no better point in the Six Nations to breed people, and I think that's kind of the mindset as well with the whole Prendergast thing. But look, that was talked about already. But yeah, for me, Henderson's a complete shock. And likewise, Nash had every right to be in that squad as well, at least on the bench. Do you know what I mean? like I had to pick him based on that fucking try against fucking Leicester.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
yeah.
That or Northampton, sorry.
Northampton,
yeah, but like he's been phenomenal. He's playing really, really good rugby, and he's going after everything, and his work rate is fucking phenomenal. So for me, like, if I was him, I'd be fucking pissed off. I really would be.
Yeah, and also Matt, sorry, I left out as well. No sign of Peter O'Mahony.
Yeah, that's an unusual one now for me. Look, you know, Peter is that guy, that warrior on the field, and no matter if Ireland are playing great or playing shite, he'll take exception to anything and everything, and
especially against England, Matt. Especially against England.
And like, no offense to the lads that are picked and are playing, but I just don't think they have that dogged fucking aggression that fucking O'Mahony has, and like. We need that, something like that, just to stir up shit on the fucking pitch, because against England of all things, that's exactly what we need. We need somebody on the pitch fucking barking and shouting and giving it fucking loads and getting the team riled up, because we all know when you get out on the pitch and you fucking one of your teammates gets hit and is taking exception to something, everybody gets fucking riled up then, and you go hell for fucking leather. So that's what you need, you know.
I will certainly be riled up. I'll be at it, and I will certainly enjoy it, and I'll be riled up.
You're a fucking jambag. Stick that fucking press pass up your hole, will you?
Stop. Mike Reedy, those three players that myself and Matt were chatting about, the inclusion of Ian Henderson and the exclusion of Calvin Nash and Peter O'Mahony. Your thoughts on that?
Well, firstly, the inclusion of Ian Henderson is mind-boggling, to be honest. Like the lads of us, we've all agreed on this before. He was dreadful when he came on in the autumns, and he must put his hands up. He's not even playing well for Ulster. I was absolutely shocked that he was in the squad, like picked for like the Six Nations squad. Not alone in a match day team is scary. It's a complete contradiction of what they're doing with Sam Prendergast. You know, you have a guy there that's Sam Prendergast is at the beginning of his career. This guy is patently, obviously, at the end, or touching towards the end anyway.
Why didn't they bring in Izzy Chuku? Why didn't they play him? Why didn't they bring him in?
He's got more of a background.
They haven't picked like their traditional massive pack. Like they normally have they have a big pack, but they're not massive. And when we knew on Tuesday their pack, but they're full match day squad. So I'm mesmerized by that. O'Mahony, in my opinion, shouldn't have been picked in the extended squad either. And for him to have been picked in initially and not be picked in the 23 is a bit, you know, I don't know why. Why is he even picked? Like, what's the point? In my opinion, he should have been gone. He should have been gone along with Henderson. They've done and good. Like, listen, they've run very well for Ireland. I agree with what Matt said though. If you wanted to bring somebody on like to have an impact, Henderson's not. He'll have a negative impact if anything. Whereas O'Mahony you could bring him on and he could get the players that aren't up to the standard required. He might get another 5 or 10% out of them, you know, riling them apart. But
true.
We need to be getting. I'm delighted to see young Bear there, but Izuchuku should have been in the match day squad for me. He was unlucky to not start at 6, to be honest.
Well, now I will say, Mike, we have to move on. We're approaching half an hour. This is the team for the first round.
Yeah,
it's the 30 something odd, whatever it is, match day squad for the first round. This people tend to forget this. The match day squads change round after round. So, you know, through injuries and form and all that sort of stuff. So just, you know, people relax with the panic buttons going, oh, why isn't he picked and all that? Okay. Sorry, go on, Mike. Did you finish your point?
Yeah, Calvin Nash is very unlucky not to be in the starting team. ahead of. I'll be honest with you, either Hansen or Lowe. Lowe has played hardly any rugby for a couple of months, and he played the other day for Leinster the other day against the Stormers, but didn't do anything particularly exciting in that game. But Nash has been outstanding all season, and like he had the jersey for last Six Nations and for the tour of South Africa.
Yeah, he did.
I feel sorry for the boy.
You do. I'm sure he'll get his chance, Mike. I'm sure. I'm conscious of time because there's a lot here to get through on my list. Alan Dorman. Alan, how are you? Alan is a Munster supporter, but genuinely think the omission of Henshaw is a joke. He is having a brilliant season. Yes, I don't think anyone will disagree with you on that, Alan. Dara Weston, your thoughts on those three particular players? One inclusion, which kind of surprised a few people, and two exclusions in Palm and Nash. What do you think of them?
Yeah, I mean, the inclusion of Henderson, I don't know. He must have had some brilliance over in Portugal, because as the lads have said, in a green shirt. Not that kind of brilliance, Matt. Now, but then again, we don't know now.
Okay. Maybe he bought a round or two or something.
Maybe.
So yeah, but look, yeah, because I mean, even the thing on Instagram, I think it was yesterday, the team arriving back, and O'Mahony was like third off the plane. So I thought, right, okay, they're kind of coming off in order of seniority or whatever, and like. So yeah, look, maybe it's one of these kind of. Is he approaching a milestone, Hendo? Is he a couple of caps short of a centurion or something?
No idea.
I hope it's not something like that where they're just kind of making numbers, giving out caps.
No. I would like to doubt that very much. Darren.
Yeah, it's been done in the past, and even under current management. So O'Mahony, yeah, I mean, look, I think you do need the old warhorse. I mean, and yeah, Nash is very unlucky as well. Is Casey injured at the moment, Craig Casey?
Yes.
Well, that explains then why Murray.
As is Joe McCarthy.
I can't give out too much then about Murray being on, because otherwise it'll be like your man Gunn or somebody, it'll be yeah. So
I think Murray is a great bench player for 15-20 minutes to close out a game. I really do.
Yeah, but we're talking about Sam and we're talking about building for the World Cup, and then we go and put Murray on. But if we don't have Casey available, then fair enough.
Yeah. But Murray played exceptional against Northampton, like exceptional.
Yeah, all right. Let's not get carried away.
Let's take the gloves off here, right?
Dave, your thoughts on those three players that I've asked Matt, Mike, and Dara. As I said, the inclusion of Henderson, which I think took a few of us by surprise, and then the exclusion of Nash and Peter O'Mahony.
Like if Joe McCarthy is injured, what's wrong with the inclusion of Henderson? Like, what other option was there? Cormac, is that what Matt and Mikey are saying? Pick Cormac.
Yeah, but you could shift it around.
And either one of them going to second.
Yeah, but Hendo and McCarthy are two heaviest locks against the traditionally big English pack. So I know he's a penalty machine and all that, but I've no problem with Henderson going in there due to injury. The Nash thing has me fucking furious because he got no game time in the autumn, which I think is extremely unfortunate. But I was actually watching the Ireland-France game from last year, and Calvin Nash absolutely hockeyed that French team, man. So that's what makes this, and he's playing even better now, and that's what makes his exclusion more baffling. Like, what the fuck does this kid have to do to get even on the bench?
I can see him, Dave. I can see Nash
wear a blue shirt.
I can see Nash putting on a green jersey.
No, look,
I can before the Six Nations is over, I can see Nash putting on a green jersey.
No, yeah, look, I think you want a tight game against England. France, if we look at French rugby, it's all loose, it's all counteract. They're probably going to pick them for the France game and whatever games in between. But I just, jeez, I forgot my point there. What was I fucking?
Don't know what you were banging on.
No, I was banging on about something. And then
Calvin Nash.
Oh, yeah, Nash. That was it. Kilcoyne went to the World Cup. So people giving out about O'Mahony. Let's put this into perspective. Kilcoyne went to the World Cup and was never going to get played. O'Mahony, like, who are these young guys going to learn from if you don't have your Henderson and O'Mahony's in the squad? But if you're going to put him in the squad, the only game I really would have played him for is 20 minutes of this game. Because like what Matt said, he's a fucking animal, especially against the old enemy. Like, I mean, this is the one game you want to win.
Absolutely, yeah.
You know, and I was listening to somebody.
Type of player. He could actually come on and make a fucking massive impact. We just don't.
Or make a bollocks of it, man.
He could make a bollocks of it. He could destroy them, or he
generally, I think he does get up for England though.
Based on the England selection, I was hoping to see more speed in the selection, like, and I put it out there, but I had to delete the post. We put Conan at 8 and Doris at 6, just so Doris can get to rucks. Like, if you're talking from set piece, and I would have liked Osborne instead of Lowe, because I think Lowe is a bit flaky at the minute, and dropping him might keep him a little honest. But you know, they've gone with a kind of balance of speed and power, and the same on the bench. Like, I mean, like Conan to come in, Hendo now to come in, and it's just going to go full on. So look, we'll see how it plays out.
I can see all these players missing. Sorry, Dave. I can see all these players that you've mentioned playing maybe against Italy. Although Italy are they're no longer the walkovers that they were years ago.
No, not even close.
But I can see, or even Wales probably. Yeah.
But based on the fact that England only is it one line-out jumper now? Ireland have 3 second rows.
No, they've two. England have 2.
The other second row is a line-out jumper.
Toje and what's his name?
Martin. Is he? I've never seen. Is he good in the line-out?
I'm sure his missus thinks so. I don't know. Okay. Peter Martin waiting patiently. Peter, those 3 players, your thoughts on what I've asked everyone: Nash, Peter O'Mahony, and Ian Henderson's inclusion in the start or the 23-day squad. 33-man.
I'll start with Henderson. As everybody's said already, and I said it well at the time, Henderson had an absolute stinker of an Autumn Nations. I think the reason why the pure reason why he's there is because he probably has a little bit more power. He brings a bit more power. In the second row position, he also is able to call a line out, which is something Ireland aren't particularly good at. Apart from that, Izachukwu would be, a very strong call, because Izachukwu brings more dynamism. He's more pace. I'd say he's probably he's better footballer than Henderson. And I think this really does kind of show up the lack of a young Tyrell coming through in line-out time. And like, this is a question I asked Shane Byrne. I put it out to Shane Byrne a few weeks ago when Shane was on. It says, if you take Byrne, Ryan, Henderson, and Baird out a picture, who can fill the 4 and 5 jerseys for Ireland? There's nobody obvious that's there. There's nobody obvious that's there. Just to give a left field shout on this, and I think he has played for Emerging Ireland. I stand to be corrected on it, but Dara Murray of Connacht would be worth a shout in my view. Should be a definite option for a lineout. He's like, Connacht have had an excellent lineout over the last couple of seasons. One of the few things they're actually managing to and he's particularly good at nicking ball. So just to say that. Going on to Nash, look, this seems to be obviously, you can argue, is it favoritism? Is it the system? Is it something that Mac Hansen or James Lowe, one of them is obviously showing a bit more than Nash and keeping him out? It is, look, this is one of these things that's, on the training ground, blah, blah, yada, yada. Finally, as regards Peter O'Mahony, I think the selection of Baird over Mahoney, this is an opportunity. I disagree with Dave insofar as I think our back row has plenty of pace in it. And I think Baird definitely brings that to this with the sixth position. He also is pretty damn good in the line-out as well. And I think that's an area of his game he's been working on, is to become more of a line-out caller and a line-out presence for Leinster. But in saying that, if the game becomes an out-and-out battle, you need your dog, you need your war horse, you need Pom.
Yeah.
I would say overall it was a tight call. Then you're looking at Izzy again coming in to do a job at 6. The reason why Izzy wasn't selected is because possibly his he doesn't have the line out. He's probably not there with the line out yet, but certainly has all the physical attributes for it.
And he's playing well, Pete. He's playing well at the moment for Ulster.
He is no question. But I suppose, look, again, it's a tight call, and it's like, well, it's England. It would be a damn brave selection had he brought Izzy in. I think it's having the selection he's picked. It's interesting that Ireland. My overall feeling with that selection is that he's gone out to play. Easterby and the coaching team have picked a team to go out and play and basically match England in certain facets of the game. They're backing their ability to be better in England in certain areas. They're not deciding that we're going to pick one guy here because to stop them. They're basically it's going to be a selection that's concentrated very much on their own game plan rather than we're picking a team to play England. That's just my bet.
True. Okay, and by the way, sorry, I meant to say from the outset, I know I did advertise that we were due to have Victor Costello and Nick Popplewell on the show tonight to do a Six Nations preview. Unfortunately, they couldn't come on tonight through circumstances beyond their control. Okay, so just in case people are wondering, I thought you said you were going to have Nick.
Popplewell was busy with a few points, I'd say.
Yeah. Okay. No. They messaged me to say that their apologies and that they can't appear. Okay, Matt. The next point that I had that you would have seen on the list, Rugby Pass reporting. Now, I've since seen subsequent reports that this is in fact there's a grey area here. It hasn't been said 100%, but the Six Nations going behind a paywall. This, I think, would be a huge self-destruct button for the Six Nations, for Rugby or Six Nations Limited PLC, whatever you call them, putting determined behind a paywall. When fans are being asked to subscribe to several channels, to 1, 2, or 3, or whatever the hell it is, to watch the games that they want, be it the Premiership, be it the top 14, be it the Heineken Cup, be it the URC. There's about 2 or 3 subscriptions that people go to, plus the ticket prices. And now there's rumours that the Six Nations is going to go behind the paywall. Is this just pure greed and rugby as an entity, World Rugby, Lions Rugby, whatever you want to label you want to put on it, just really shooting themselves in the foot, and they're just doing it for pure greed? Now, I know the game needs money, but surely to Christ, there's better ways of doing it than doing this.
Yeah, look, I mean, it's a very bad idea if it does go behind a paywall, and it's going to be detrimental in terms of the fans because they're getting priced out of it for ticket wise. Plus, then they're going to have to pay to get like Sky Sports or Premier Sports. They're going to have an extra cost to actually watch the Six Nations. So, is it greed? Possibly. Like, I know the game needs money, but like if the tickets are going up and they're getting less fans going, they're going to have less money anyway. Then are people really going to pay an extra fucking 50 quid a month for a sports package just for one tournament in the Six Nations? No, they're gonna just fucking stream it and do it illegally, So it's a very bad idea. If it goes behind a paywall, they're gonna lose. They're gonna lose figures and viewers in numbers and supporters and God knows what else. Look, is it greed? Possibly. Fuck, I don't know. Me personally, I think it's a really fucking bad idea.
I totally agree with you, Matt. I totally agree with you.
It'd be like fucking the live golf thing if they live fucking rugby tour and fucking Dubai set up. Another fucking stupid idea. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah,
you put that in with the group with the fucking 20-minute red card as well.
Okay, very good, Matt. Thank you, Mike.
Yeah,
your thoughts on this? Putting the Six Nations behind a paywall. Now, look, it hasn't been confirmed. It's just rumor at the moment, but I just think it's as Matt said.
There's always truth to rumors, isn't there?
Well, that's true. I think this will be a massive mistake by the rugby powers that be.
But there's a lot of older people that watch. I mean, the only tournament they'll watch all year is the Six Nations, and for that to be snatched away from them now and have to pay actually make a contribution. And there's people living in wherever and that don't have the facilities of these so-called this paywall.
Tala.
And, I feel sorry for people. I don't care. I don't care personally because I'll fucking watch it somehow anyway. And
but you've got your illegal fire stick.
I do not. I beg your pardon.
Shut the fuck.
Say nothing. All right.
A fucking bus.
Okay, go on.
But anyway,
I don't think the guards will be going over to you anytime soon, Mike.
They're definitely not watching this anyway. That's for fucking sure.
No, they're not watching this. No. All right. Thanks, Mike. Sorry, Mike. Were you finished?
Yeah, I'm finished. I'm
right.
going.
How's the under 26 nations going on
still
your
3-9
minutes. Ireland are playing shit.
They are.
All right. Dara, your thoughts on this? The Six Nations going behind the paywall. It's just a supreme shoot yourself in the foot rugby.
Oh, look. Firstly, if it impacts Tala, will you be okay, hon? Because you're only like fucking 3 miles from Tala.
No, he's in Dublin 24
I said that to him before.
I'm in Furhead.
Park Mines.
I'm in Furhead.
Dublin 24.
I'm in Furhead. Sure, Dara thought I lived in fucking Dunleary, for Christ's sake. Go on,
well, yeah, because you said your wife was the rear admiral of the yacht club and all that. So,
rear admiral.
What is it, Commodore or something? Or
Commodore.
Commandant. Commandant.
Rear admiral. That's a new one.
Look, I mean, there's a lot of the unions out there need cash. Because they're realizing now that they have to adopt, the RFU had to adopt the Irish model of centrally contracting players. And what they had to sell Twickenham for, was it 100 million they get over so many years?
10 years for the naming rights.
Yeah, for the naming rights. So, the whole problem with the Six Nations is it's a majority vote. And Irish and possibly France are probably the two unions that are kind of okay for cash at the moment. But at the same time, will the IRFU ever really turn down extra money? So, will any business turn down extra money? Because they'll go, well, the fans can buy tickets, and if they don't buy tickets, they can subscribe to the TV service. And if they don't want to subscribe to the TV service, they can go to a pub and watch it that has the TV service.
But Darragh, there has to be economies of scale.
Yeah,
there has to be a return on investment because if you reach a certain point, you're going to lose subscribers, you're going to lose fans, all this, and people just will turn off.
Well, you've got to remember, you see, they've lost the Netflix money. There was was it? I think 30 million split between the unions for the Netflix program.
I know, but did you see the criticism of season 2? Full Contact.
I said it was heavily about. I saw it was heavily about England, and I haven't watched it yet now myself.
Either have I.
I might actually watch it, just see Borthwick and see if he actually cries at any stage. But yeah, so they've lost the Netflix money. I think they thought that was going to be like the Formula One Drive to Survive thing was, and it was going to get everybody in America watching rugby, and it didn't. And so,
true.
And instead, they're watching that drivel fucking chasing me whole about the Springboks. So, and thinking Rassie is great and all that. So, look, they have to fill the gap in their wallet from the Netflix money. So in an ideal world, yes, it should stay. And we've had this before where home games were terrestrial and free to view, but we used to have Sky Sports to watch the game if it was in Twickenham, because Sky had the contract for that. I remember having to go to the pub to watch when Ireland were playing England in Twickenham, because RTE didn't have the rights for it back then. It was only Sky had it. So we've already had this to a certain extent in the Six Nations.
I thought the BBC always had the.
No. The
Sky
BBC
had it solely at one stage, and even the opposition broadcaster couldn't show it.
The Six Nations.
Sorry, go on, Mike.
Been on terrestrial television in the UK for all 37 years I've been living over here, so it's never ever been. But
just to clarify, because people
maybe BBC had it as well, but if you were living in Ireland and Ireland were playing in Twickenham, you had to watch it on Sky because RTE couldn't get it.
I think that for the Six Nations. I thought that was just the international windows in summer and autumn.
No, it was the third coverage.
Yeah,
I was just going to say that, Pete.
Because
there's a few sporting events. There's a few sporting events that the government has on their list of sporting events that have to be free to air
in Ireland.
In Ireland, broadcast by the
Ireland hurling final and the
GAA, their football. Yeah,
and now that's probably it.
The thing is, people were saying, but isn't the Six Nations, if Ireland are playing the Six Nations in Croke Park or the Aviva, whatever it may be, isn't that free to air? It is.
Coverage.
It's deferred coverage. It's not. It's not under government law or whatever, constitution, whatever the hell it is, for a live game. That's the difference. It's deferred, as you say quite rightly, Dave. It's deferred coverage.
Anyway, no, I read that during the week.
There's 3,000 GAA clubs or whatever it is in the country, so there's loads of votes in having the GAA saved for the national broadcast.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't have to pay for it, but not enough.
Exactly. Yeah, and no one watches the Poxy thing anyway. Dave Sheedy, your thoughts on this? If the Six Nations goes behind a paywall, how do you feel about that?
I've heard every other podcast talk about it, and I think it's unanimous now that no one wants to see that happen. But I will point to what Shaggy said. What was he saying about the Six Nations? This is what kind of introduced most of us when we were young to rugby, is the Six Nations. I've been watching the Six Nations since I was 3 or 4 years old. I didn't even know anything outside Six Nations, and I knew my local club Mary's played in the AIL. That's all I knew up until I was about 18. So the only rugby I was exposed to really was Six Nations on the TV. And then Munster came along. But look, Shaggy makes a great point. He said, I walked into a pizzeria around the corner from me and they were showing the Six Nations. He's like, that's brilliant, like to keep it free to air. So like, you know, chippers, everyone who can show it will show it to get bums on seats. But I take what Dara says, like, yeah, everyone needs money, but like rugby's never been more popular ever. Like it's compared to 10 years ago, like, I mean, the river money is just fucking flowing in from this because everyone in Ireland is on board. Wales probably, you know, everyone in France is on board. You know, like the big countries are all kind of playing well and everyone's on board. So, like,
what the fuck are they doing with all the money then? Why do they keep doing this?
I don't fucking know because, like,
the problem is the IRFU are the only national union that's actually getting that money through the URC and through the Heineken Cup because they own the provinces. The other countries aren't getting it from their clubs.
But
the Welsh are getting, like the Premiership are getting the TV money. The Welsh, the URC and all that, they're privately owned clubs. So the clubs are splitting the money. Yeah. The Welsh clubs are privately owned, so that's why.
Okay, hold on. Sorry, Dara.
Get that competition money in.
Sorry, Dara. Peter Martin again, waiting patiently to come in on this. Peter Martin, behind the Six Nations behind a paywall. Disaster waiting to happen, or what do you think?
Absolutely. I just echo what Dave said. Like, I grew up, my introduction to rugby was the Six Nations, the colour, the festival. That's all about it. Like tomorrow, like this is like technically this evening is Sixmas.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So you know, there's a game on tomorrow. It's the start of the competition.
Did he give it?
Look, it's absolutely bonkers, really. Like, you know, the thinking that they're basically, you know, there's the laws of diminishing returns, really, when it comes to this putting it behind a paywall. Like that'll, you know, like Dave is saying about how Ireland, like, you know, rugby's never been so popular in Ireland. I would say it's never been talked about so much. I would say as much as, you know, it's been popular. Talked about as much for the simple reason, I mean, there's so much going on insofar as, you know, the Irish team is doing well, has done well relatively recently. We're still kind of glowing in the bat, I suppose. You know, we're reigning Six Nations champions. We're going for 3 in a row. We just beat, you know, tied a series with South Africa. We had a decent Autumn Nations on paper. There's still, obviously, we're talking about what we're talking about this evening, the selections, non-selections. There's also the noise about and we're giving out about it as well. And people are getting interested in what's going on with all the changes in the rules, and we're banging a drum and bitching and moaning and giving a fuck about the law changes and the whole lot. And there's a noise about rugby, I think, about at the moment. But I think it's generally, and when there's a noise, it's kind of getting people's interest. So why are people so exercised in this? And they get interested. Why? They're so exercised. So I think that's what's going on at the moment.
Yeah, but I think you see a lot of these things, a lot of this point was made before. A lot of these things with Irish sport are cyclical. Michael Carruth, Barry McGuigan, boxing, everyone loved it. Italian 90, everyone loved the football, and now the Irish rugby team. We were number one in the world, but we're certainly up there. We're doing well, and it's well supported. So. Like,
it's been a long cycle. I mean, I'd argue that this started back in Soldier Field in 2016 when we beat the All Blacks.
Oh, can I just come back in there for a minute?
Cycle.
Hold on, go on, Pete. Hold on, Darren. Go on, Pete.
There in a minute. I'm gonna basically throw that argument about cycle right in its head. Right?
Go on.
I would argue that the Irish rugby team is the non-cycle sport in the country from an international perspective at the moment. Okay. You've mentioned Italian 90 with the soccer and the whole lot. We've always kind of believed it was cyclical for the simple reason being we didn't have a league. We've yet to produce a soccer league, a native soccer league strong enough and a system strong enough to produce players. That is why our national soccer team are shit at the moment, right? You're talking about boxing. That is kind of coming to, we're getting more consistent from an Olympic international point of view. We're coming more consistent because money has been invested wisely in boxing. Billy Walsh, who incredibly is now head of boxing in the US. But that's the last I heard of him. He was head of boxing. He was headhunted by the US because he was so damn fucking good. And the shitheads who operate in Adelaide Road or wherever.
And he was badly treated, yes. He was badly treated.
The Irish Amateur Boxing Federation. They all need their heads wobbled significantly because they let an absolute treasure of a man go. Now, granted, they kept on to Saranthe and all that. And look, I won't get into that. But my point is, we're in a point now with the Irish rugby team where we used to have that cycle, and that was the talk back in the 90s. Went from year to year, and sometimes we were lucky. You think back to the mid 80s, we had a fantastic team in 85. We won the Triple Crown, and we won it in 82. So it was an up, it was down, and it went up again. And after 85, where the fuck were we?
Oh, there is.
You could smell us. We were that bad for a number of years. We're that bad.
Yeah.
So I would say that, that, and I think that generates, that's why we have the interest, the national interest, and why people get so interested in our sport. We've invested, rugby has been invested in this country. You can bitch and moan about how much has gone to Leinster versus the other provinces. That's not the point. That's not my point. The point is money has been invested in general in the game. Any sport in this country where money has been invested in general has done well. There's been a straight line as regards success. It hasn't been up, down, up, down, up, down.
Yeah, true. Okay. All right. Thanks,
Can I
Pete.
say something for 10 seconds?
Hold on, Dave. I have to say, I mentioned boxing. I have to mention Katie Taylor and Kelly Harrington in case people start jumping on them and saying, right. Go on, Dave, quick.
Mike Tyndall did make a good point about the paywall. If you're going to have it, put all the rugby on one channel. Everything on one
Can't
channel.
do it. It's impossible. How would you do that on one channel? Different kickoff times. You couldn't have.
No, but like if TNT buy it and they can spread it throughout their channel.
So TNT, Station 1's TNT 2, TNT.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Okay. All right. A couple of comments there before we go on to our last point, before we talk about the games coming up on the opening weekend of the Six Nations. Alan Dorman, looking to generate more, has already ruined our Heineken Cup. A lot of truth in that, Alan, yes. Mike Sheedy, everyone should remember this weekend is not Leinster or Munster, it's Ireland shoulder to shoulder. Yes, Mike, you're right, of course, absolutely. Okay.
It's a fabulous surname.
Okay, gentlemen, there you go. All right, Matt Boland, we'll just talk about this briefly. It was just something that came up at the show I was at last night. Jerry Thornley was very critical of the IRFU, and he was comparing the Irish media's access to the players and the background. He said that the IRFU don't like us journalists because they see us as competition for the IRFU website. And he was comparing the media access that the Irish journalists have to the Irish team, to the French and the English Premiership. And he said, if you're doing that, you like if you're in England, you just walk into the dressing rooms and you can interview who you want. Same in France. But the Irish don't have that. I don't think that's particularly good for the rugby setup here, that the media don't have that level of access to the Irish team and all this sort of stuff. Any thoughts on that, or do you care?
I don't think media should be allowed access dressing rooms, changing rooms at any, even abroad.
At certain stages, like after the match when they're all chilling out and they're having their beer and blah blah.
Yeah, after the match, yeah, but they shouldn't be in there before, during.
No. Sorry, I should have clarified. After, when the game is over and they're all chilling out, they're having their beer. You know, this.
Look, I suppose it's up to the different unions. If they want to allow the access, then after, grand. If they don't, they should have the right to refuse as well. Do you know what I mean? Like,
but I don't particularly think that's a good thing. I really don't.
I don't think it is either. Personally, I don't like it. But again, like if they want to have it, then let them away. Like say for argument's sake, England want to do that and they want to invite them in for media access after the games or whatever. Let them on. But it shouldn't be. It should be just down to everybody individually to go, yeah, we want it or not. I don't like it. I don't think it should be done. Changing rooms are kind of sacred to teams, especially like if you're coming off after a loss, you fucking don't want media coming in and fucking asking you fucking umpteen questions. Like, you know, for me, I don't.
But you see, yeah, okay. You see, the problem I have with this is that these players are, by kids, they're worshipped, they're looked up to. You know, Johnny Sexton's my hero, Brian O'Driscoll's my hero, Josh Van der Fleer is my hero, whatever, right? And they want to know that, like kids, teenagers, under 18s, 19-year-olds, 20-year-olds, they consume this information. The more access the media have to the players and the machinations of how the whole thing works and all that, they love it. But the IRFU, in their wisdom, are restricting that sort of access. As Jerry said last night, he said it's a totally different story in France, totally different story in England. And he believes, he didn't say it, but he believes it's a totally different story in Italy. But the IRFU are trying to control this. And he doesn't understand why they're doing this. Well, he said because he thinks the media are in competition with the IRFU fucking website. I don't know. Anyway, sorry.
I don't know either. Yeah, I suppose like I can understand where he's coming from, but I don't know.
All right. Okay. Thanks, Matt. Mike Reedy, any thoughts on this? Any brief points you want to make before we go into the games?
I just don't want the game to turn into an absolute circus, you know, with nonsense being spoken. Like putting a camera or a microphone in some guy's face after a game after getting fucking beat or whatever like that. Do you know what? It should go through the same channels it always has and just continue. I genuinely don't see anything wrong with it the way it has been. I don't know. I'm not a journalist like yourself, Peter. So I wouldn't know about.
I'm not a journalist. I'm far from a trained journalist. I write opinions. I'm far from a trained journalist.
Are you starting this campaign to get access to the players? Is that your game?
No. Sure, you see them in the press conference afterwards. Dara Weston, any thoughts on this?
I think players should have the privacy to celebrate after the match in their budgie smugglers or whatever, after winning the World Cup or whatever, without fucking photos being taken like de Klerk, although he probably wanted that photo taken of himself and his South African budgie smugglers. I think Jerry's being a bit dramatic. The problem is that it's the most successful national team here we have. We have two national teams. We have soccer and we have rugby. We've no national GA team. So, that's the most popular sport. Italy, Jesus, they'd be walking up to people on the street, giving them press passes, just trying to get them in, trying to get more coverage, trying to build the game in Italy. I think, if anything, I would say, because press has become more digital. It's not just Jerry writing for the newspaper now. He's writing for the website. He's writing for all this. Now, the IRFU have a long way to go when it comes to digital stuff. Like, we haven't had an IRFU app for, about 4 years now. The provinces have an app, but there's no Irish app, Irish rugby app. They pulled that a couple of years ago. And it used to be good for just, going through stats and seeing who was on the squad. And, if you couldn't watch the match, you could see the summary of it. So, look, I think, you can still follow players. They have their own Instagrams and stuff, and the IRFU are pumping out stuff on Instagram and things like that. I think it's maybe a little bit of overreaction from Jerry. I think he's, maybe a little bit of a sulk. I don't know, because, he didn't get invited to Portugal with the lads.
He did. He was over there. He said he was over there.
Yeah, but he probably didn't get to stay in the hotel room with them or something. He probably had to get his own hotel or something.
Maybe he wants the budgie smugglers.
Okay, right. We're over time. Okay, sorry, Dara. I just want to get Dave and Pete's opinion on this.
I think it's hypocritical of Thornley to say that, because he gets the team apparently before anyone. So he's got the IRFU by the balls with this. So that's just pure bullshit from Thornley and hypocritical. And I know where you're leading with this, because the Netflix weren't given the access. But if I was a player, looking at it from a player's perspective, I don't want fucking media in the dressing room. I want to chill out with my teammates, have a beer, have the crack. From a fan's perspective, I want to see what's going on. But I think any of the documentaries that were done on the Irish team by Irish TV were very good. Like, after the Grand Slam, they interviewed the players separately and said, okay, let's talk about this, let's talk about that. I thought those documentaries were very good. I don't think we necessarily need access to the dressing rooms, just need people to tell us kind of what's going on after the event. That doesn't, I like those documentaries,
I know you do. You mentioned it last week.
And by the way, just quickly, if kids want to see their players that they love and idolize, go down to your fucking local club. They're there all the time.
Okay, good point, Dave. Peter Martin, your quick thoughts on this before we go into the opening weekend of the Six Nations.
Well, just I would echo what Dara has said. Thornley's a bit of a sulk. He's got a little bit of an axe to grind, but yet and all, he gets 13 out of 15 of the fucking players picked of the first team picked. I do think, looking at the perspective of looking at the way Farrell has the players, and how when you see the players being interviewed and you see them in the late, and when you see them interviewed in paper, even it's print media, whatever, it's not quite the same. But you get the impression the players are generally comfortable talking. Like, Doris is good at talking. You don't get the vibe. I don't get the vibe that the players are kind of have a siege mentality. We can't talk to the media, whatever like that. I think that's basically over. It's probably overreach by the IRFU. I think I think, to be honest with you, there's a lack of confidence in the way in their own PR. Is what I would say. Like Dara said, there was a position up for grabs, a new job advertised after the whole what was it, the press release over the
comments,
the photos or the non-photos of Prendergast versus Crowley in the pre, I that's what I think is that's what it seems to smack up to me, is that there's nobody really leading the PR and saying, okay, this is Irish rugby, having a stepping back and being self-aware and so let's go and have a bit of fun with this. Maybe let's basically be a kind of a, someone who really kind of takes charge of the PR from a give.
Big gun.
We're here to support the lads, and there's a few photos thrown up, and that's kind of it. It's a little bit kind of sanguine, a little bit vanilla. There's nothing there. You don't get a sense that there's someone here having a bit of crack.
I was going to actually apply for that job.
I bet you were.
Well,
I was.
I'd say the first question you'd be getting everybody on side say, "Go on, am I right in saying Russell's a spoofer? Aren't I? Am I right?"
No, but you're right though. Yeah,
he is a spoofer, and fuck off. I need to go back to Andy and the boys. We're practicing line outs or running a backline move. That's
what I suggest is they get whoever runs PR for Ryanair into the IRFU and put Peter into Ryanair, where he can have rants of people. You want your luggage as well.
O'Leary will give him a bonus within a week.
No, I was looking at the job.
Oh, sorry.
I was looking at the job. I was looking at the job spec for that thing, and I think I said it. One of the things you had to be able to do was fly a drone. I've no fucking idea how to fly a drone. If I could crash up and kill someone if I fucking.
I'm sure you can learn.
When you apply for a job, you always just say yes.
Yeah, and then someone gives me a fucking drone. There you go, fly that.
Gig saying I could ride horses. I never fucking ride a horse in my life.
Okay, anyway, gentlemen, Matt Boland, we'll finish on this because as always we're way over time. As always, it's win, lose or draw. Opening round of the Six Nations, and we have Matt, France entertaining Wales.
Oh, family flowers to Wales. Fucking hell.
Yeah. Scotland entertaining Italy.
I've seen a few people fucking tipping Italy to win this, but I don't think that's ever going to happen. I think Scotland are. I'd say it'll be a tough enough game. I'd say Scotland will get like a 7 or 10 point win or something. But yeah, Scotland to win.
In the last 15 probably minutes or something like that, Matt.
Yeah.
Okay. And finally, and I can't wait, Ireland versus England.
Oh Jesus! Ireland or England, France, and Scotland are targeting us big time, and I think after seeing the Autumn Nations, I think, and rightly so, they all probably think they can have a pop at us. But I'd like to think it's gonna be fucking edgier seat stuff. This one, I'm hoping Ireland will do it just by a score. That's what I'm going with. That's what my gut's saying.
If you're going, Matt, head over heart. Head says, heart says.
Oh, Jesus. Heart says Ireland always.
Hold on, Dave. It's not your turn.
Yeah, look, my heart says Ireland by 20. My head says Ireland by 3.
All right. Okay. Thanks, Matt. Mike, your turn. France entertaining Wales.
Oh, I agree with Matt. It could be 30-point difference, I'd say, easy.
Could be 50.
But I think they could possibly put 50 points on Wales. It's going to be a massacre, unfortunately. Yeah. I don't like to see that, but you know what?
No.
You don't like to see it, but it's reality where Welsh rugby is at the moment.
They haven't even got Pinot. Pinot is not playing for France, but
no.
They have an equally good guy who I've never heard of before. Fucking come in and is going to probably run amok and score. Fucking, I mean,
they're like South Africa, Mike. They've some depth, the French. Okay. And finally, Mike, Ireland, us playing England.
Well, I'll say Scotland to beat Italy, first of all.
Oh, sorry, Scotland. Scotland first. Sorry. I missed that.
Even without Lotto, I think Scotland will have too much for Italy. Us against England. Oh, do you know what? let's hope we go. Let's hope Sam Prendergast hits the ground running, by the way, and fucking has the game of his young life so far. And we can. I was talking to a young English guy this evening who used to play with Harlequins, and he said he predicted England 32, Ireland 20. I said England haven't scored 32 points against Ireland in fucking a long time, and they haven't. And I don't see anything like that now. It could be a close game, or it could go the other way. I think we'll beat them. I do think we'll beat them. I think we have a better balanced team than them. If our halfbacks, and I mean, I saw Gibson Park got back into a little bit of form in the last couple of games for Leinster, so I'm looking forward to seeing how he goes along. He's used to playing alongside Prendergast anyway, so
okay.
I think we have.
Okay.
I would like to say else. Our under 20s have put in the worst performance in probably 4 years.
All right, thanks for that.
What you said was it Ireland or England to win there, Mike? You went on such a long one.
Oh, Ireland.
Grand.
Get off that
Okay,
fucking Mike.
so I'll go for Wales. No, I'm only joking. I'll go for France, obviously. I think Scotland and Italy could be a draw.
I saw that. I saw you saying that, yeah.
I think it could be a draw, and I might put a fiver on that. And I'd say us by I think we'd be fairly closely matched. I'd say home advantage us by maybe 7 to 10 points.
All right, okay. Dave Sheedy, France versus Wales.
Yeah, Penno missing. They mightn't have the 50 points, but they could definitely put 30 on them. But first game of the Six Nations is edgy, man. You know, like
I know, yeah.
For all three of them, you never know what way it's going to go.
Wales.
Yeah, I just love seeing Gatland getting a hiding. So France.
How would we all?
Okay, Scotland entertaining Italy, Dave.
So Scotland are at home.
Yeah.
All right, I'll go with Scotland then, unfortunately.
Okay, and us versus England.
I don't think it's going to be as close as everyone thinks, because last year England's backs were to the wall and we were kind of riding a little comfortable because we were doing so well. I think Ireland have the upper hand in the line out. I think we've the upper hand in the scrum, apart from Beelum, and the backs. I think I'll go with Dara, 7 to 10, maybe more. I don't see England turning up as good as people might think. Yeah, they have a point to prove, but they had a point to prove in the autumn and they did fucking nothing. So
they haven't been good for a few games now. Dave,
yeah, but like it's not like later in the competition where their backs are against the wall, you know.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Thank you, gentlemen. And finally, Peter Martin, ending the show with you. Your predictions: win, lose, or draw. We have France at home to Wales.
Yeah, I think that French team looks incredibly powerful and skillful. Interesting, they selected the Toulouse number 8 in second row, Alexandre Roumat, Olivier Roumat's son, and it's basically split. It's the core of Toulouse, and you've got La Rochelle players there, and one or two. Yeah. You've got Bordeaux. You've got the 3 strong French clubs there. You've got Bordeaux, who are basically tearing it up attack-wise. You've got La Rochelle, and then you've got Toulouse.
I think they've 8 Toulouse players. 8, I think.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. Look, it's going to be something like 50 to France, 20 to Wales. It's going to be an absolute tonkin for Wales.
Okay. Scotland at home to Italy.
Scotland at home. It'll be interesting to see how they manage without Tuipulotu, because he's been the form 12 over the last 6 months, I'd say, in World Rugby. He's been outstanding. He's really kind of grown into that position, and we'll miss him against if Aki's playing against if Bundy's selected against them, because I think for me they're similar enough type players.
I think he's out for the Six Nations.
I know. He's a big loss for Scotland. Who Scotland pick in the 12 jersey? I don't know who they picked.
Jones.
And Pete, Ireland against England at home in the Aviva.
Ireland. Well, I would say first of all, I'd say Scotland by a hair against Italy.
All right. Okay. Go on. Sorry.
Ireland versus England. If we play remotely like we did in the Autumn Nations, we're looking at a loss. I'm just putting it out there. So we need to level up from that. Absolutely, we can beat England because behind the scenes they were fucking shambles. Like, how many different coaches have they gone through? They've lost 2 defensive coaches in the last year. So, it's. I think the crucial piece will be a good start from Ireland. If we get manage to get a couple of tries, and it could be 20 points to 5 or 20 to 7 at halftime, I think we'll close. We'll end up winning well. If we do perform like we did in the autumn, it's going to be cutting straws at Gerard's job. Will be basically, it'll go right to the whole 80 minutes, and I wouldn't like it.
And we need to get our line out fucking sorted. Big one.
Yeah.
Well, you'd hope the fact that it's a Lions year will mean that they'll be much more motivated than the Autumn Internationals. That they'll add an extra 20% because they want to get on the plane, especially with Andy as coach.
No, absolutely. I totally agree there. Yeah. Okay, folks, that is it. I think we've broken our record here for going way over time, 1 hour, 21 minutes. As I always say, time flies when you're having fun. My thanks to all of you for watching, all your comments and your opinions. They are very welcomed. And also my thanks to Matt Boland, Mike Reedy, Darragh Weston, Dave Sheedy, and Peter Martin. Gentlemen, enjoy the rest of your evening, and we shall do it all again next week. Thank you.
Everybody.
Good night.
All the best.
Bye-bye. God bless.
Good luck, lads.
I have a money-making idea for you, Peter.